Hey everyone, welcome to the weekly wrap only on KENS 5 Plus. I'm your host, Audrey Gasoleno. Let's get to your biggest stories of the week so you can stay in the know. At number 5 in our countdown, the new assigned seating policy for Southwest Airlines went into effect this week. Travelers can pick their seats in advance for an extra charge on flights. Purchase options include the ability to select seats with extra leg room. Other flyers will be assigned a seat at check-in. The boarding process will also change. A passenger's boarding position was based on frequent flyer status, check-in time, and whether they bought a preferred boarding add-on. And at number 4 in our countdown, the city is looking to make improvements at the San Antonio International Airport. Council members met this week to hear about architectural designs for Terminals A and B to extend its use through 2045. The plan also includes improving runways, roads, signage, and airfield lighting. Council will be debriefed on which firm is being recommended for the project. City members will also look at a centralized system to send food and supplies to airport restaurants and lounges. At number 3, an update on the cell phone policy at Northeast ISD. The school board voted unanimously this week to keep the district's policy in place. This move defies compliance from the Texas Education Agency, who had given the district until this upcoming Friday to comply with the law. The district's current policy allows students to use their phone before and after school, during lunch, and during passing periods. Trustees argue the state didn't define a school day in their law, but the TEA says the district does not have that authority.
I think this is a test case. I'm thinking that they're trying to see just how far they can push us. And if we give in to this at this time, it'll be something else next month and then something else the following month. You know, it will always be something that they are going to push and push and push. And if we don't say no and do a solid no, and what we've already explained to our communities, that we are going to stand firm on this, and if we give even an inch to these people.
Well, the entire board did stand firm, voting 7-0 to keep their policy in place. An attorney representing the district says they'll now notify the TEA of their decision and see how they respond. All right, we're in the middle of the winter respiratory virus season. As KENS 5's Jeremy Baker reports, for those people living with chronic conditions with weakened immune systems, coming down with an illness that others can just shake off could mean a higher risk of ending up in the hospital.
Many illnesses that we deal with throughout our lifetime can be kept away with vaccines. And for those who already have a lifelong medical condition, being up to date on yearly vaccines is a must to stay as healthy as possible.
With vaccination, something that could be life-threatening complication, in fact, will just be a mild illness that you'll be able to get over.
Several of the chronic conditions resulting in an increased risk for severe illness include diabetes, heart disease, kidney disease, lung disease, and asthma. Those are just a few of the illnesses that need to be kept at bay with both antiviral treatments and vaccines.
So you may be getting a vaccine to protect yourself, but you're also getting that vaccine to care about and protect the people that you love.
To help prevent complications due to asthma, COPD, and other lung conditions, the CDC recommends getting the flu vaccine, Tdap vaccine, RSV vaccine, shingles, pneumococcal vaccines, and the COVID-19 vaccine. And doctors say vaccines aren't just effective, but also safe.
So these respiratory viruses we're thinking of, like pneumococcal, flu, RSV, and COVID, those are really tailored and risk-based.
For more information about the vaccines both children and adults should be getting regularly, we have links with this story on KENS5.com. In the studio, Jeremy Baker, KENS 5.
Some good information there. The weekly wrap is back after this.
Go ahead. Take a look at the faces of San Antonio Zone. When you look into their eyes, you see passion, you see hard work, you see familia. Generations of people who embody a rich culture of respect, honor, and originality. We're all in San Antonio, but more importantly, San Antonio is in us. It's what makes us special. It's why we're proud to be San Antonio's own.
A broken vehicle fixed after 5 months of no help.
KENS 5 made it 100% better.
A busted windshield fixed after getting the runaround from a contractor.
And you guys did it. Y'all were amazing.
A much-needed tax refund this man couldn't access. Yep, fixed.
Kids 5 actually helped me out quite a lot, actually.
Have a consumer problem you can't solve? Call Ken's. Weekdays at 6 on Ken's 5.
Got a problem, call Ken's. They will solve the problem.
My name is Sue Kalberg, and I am a journalist for Ken's 5 for 22 years. I think it's been an awesome privilege to be able to work in the town that I grew up in. My uncle, Rex Stanley, was the very, 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 very first guy hired at Ken's 5. From the beginning, I said, you can get paid for that? Let me in. It fills my heart to be a part of the Ken's family, because the Ken's family is the San Antonio family. I am San Antonio's own Sue Kalberg.
We want to get you breaking news right now.
Here, let me show you the police activity. New insight into a deadly police shooting.
We just got an update from fire officials. We'll continue to keep you updated.
Stream extended coverage, live or on demand, right here on Ken's 5 Plus.
Welcome back to the Weekly Wrap. At number 2 in our countdown, Governor Abbott is directing public universities and state agencies to freeze new H-1B visa applications. Now, under this directive, state agencies and public universities cannot file 4 new petitions without written permission from the Texas Workforce Commission through the end of next legislative session on May 31st, 2027. In a letter to state agencies, Governor Abbott said the freeze gives state lawmakers time to consider guardrails for the federal H-1B program and allows reforms made by President Trump to set in. The letter also asks those entities to report back to the state by March with information about how many H-1B visa holders they currently sponsor, where those workers are from, and how they are insured, and qualified Texas candidates got a reasonable opportunity to apply for those positions. Tenants at a Northwest Side apartment complex had been dealing with sewage leakage right outside of their doorstep, and they had no idea when it was going to be fixed. But after Ken's 5's Andrew Moore went out to the property, management started cleaning it up right away.
Elizabeth Hansen says she had been watching sewage flow through the parking lot for more than 2 weeks, and then her local manager got changed out. She didn't know what to do, so she called Ken's 5, but after Ken's 5 came out, new management said they are now working to permanently fix that issue.
It's disgusting. And kids play in it and get on their shoes and on their balls when they're kicking their soccer ball around.
Elizabeth Hansen says tenants at Via de Sondero have been dealing with this since at least the end of December. Waste came out of this pipe when tenants flushed, and it was draining through the parking lot. Tenants had reported it to code enforcement, and code enforcement did give the complex a notice of violation on January 7th.
They got their eyes on it. They said if it doesn't get resolved, to call them back.
Hansen says a week later, it still wasn't fixed.
It's gross.
So finally, she called Ken's 5.
So you would kind of like to know what the city's doing?
I would like to know what anybody's doing.
Ken's 5 came out to the apartment complex, and then we called the apartment management the next morning to inform them we were doing a story about the sewage issue. A manager told us they were getting it cleaned up that day, and they did. Hansen says crews came out and worked that entire day to get it done.
They were out here putting hoses down all of the vent little things for the sewer and pushing all of everything through. They mentioned that there were branches in there and it would be a temporary fix.
When Ken's 5 came back, the leak was stopped, the sewage was gone, and the parking lot was dry. Hansen worries it's likely not fixed for good, but she's thankful to new management for making progress.
They're trying, and they've got us to where we aren't smelling sewage all the time, so that's a bonus.
Top management at the property declined to go on camera when we showed up to talk to them, but they did tell us that they were working to get bids with a plumber so they could fix this issue for good. For Call Ken's Andrew Moore, Ken's 5.
Wow, glad it is cleaned up at least for now. Stick with us. We're going to be right back.
Go ahead. Take a look at the faces of San Antonio Zone. When you look into their eyes, you see passion, you see hard work, you see familia. Generations of people who embody a rich culture of respect, honor, and originality. We're all in San Antonio, but more importantly, San Antonio is in us. It's what makes us special. It's why we're proud to be San Antonio's own.
talked to this police officer, and she told me to call KENS 5.
Every week, KENS 5 is looking out for San Antonio's own.
The next day after you left, they sent a professional AC guy, and my AC is working now.
If you've been wronged by someone,
It was shocking. Clearly something went wrong.
or a business,
I couldn't believe it was happening.
just call KENS. Weekdays at 6, only on KENS 5.
I got my vehicle back. I'm rolling again, so call KENS 5 to help you if you need help too.
Born and raised on the northwest side of San Antonio, Texas. Generations of my family have been from this part of Texas. I have Fiesta roots, I have Spurs roots, I have Texas Fighter roots. Played basketball at Clark. Basketball was a huge part of my life for 16 years. My comfort dish, a plate of chilaquiles with salsa verde. I grew up watching KENS 5. I am who I am because of this beautiful city. I hope that they can find a sense of pride knowing that their creation is helping deliver them the most important news of the day. I'm Alicia Nieves, and I'm proud to be from this beautiful city.
If you want a meal that will make you say,
So good!
that is fantastic, catch Neighborhood Eats, where we find the best local restaurants. Streaming now on KENS 5 Plus.
Welcome back to the weekly wrap. All right, it's a new chapter for the University of Texas at San Antonio's Institute of Texan Culture. So you may recall its previous home at Hemisphere could become the site of a new Spurs arena. So it's since been demolished, but 19 months later now, ITC's new home is at Frost Tower. KENS 5's Henry Ramos got a sneak peek before the doors open to the public.
It's exciting and also a bit, vulnerable at the same time because this has truly been a work of heart.
A work of heart, 19 months in the making.
Before construction started, we didn't even have floors. It was dirt. Wow. It was a complete raw space.
This is the new transitional home of the University of Texas at San Antonio's Institute of Texan Cultures. The new space is downtown at Frost Tower. It is at the corner of West Houston and Cameron Street.
I'd like to, personally welcome people back home to the ITC.
The new space, much smaller than its original digs over at Hemisphere at the Texas Pavilion building. That had multiple levels and 45,000 square feet of exhibit space.
Here, all in, we're looking at about 8,000 square feet. So that means that the onus is on us. We have that charge and responsibility that in order to tell a Texas-sized story.
The main gallery, called Common Threads, is continuing to bring Texas stories to life. There's also a rotating gallery.
We really had the exciting opportunity to reimagine and think about how we can tell a Texas-sized story in a compact, in a very cozy space.
The new space is immersive. There are even touch screens guests can interact with. The people behind the ITC say it is continuing to tell the Texas stories in big, bold ways. And if you're wondering, yes, that iconic neon Texas flag is back.
And it was original to Hemisphere in 1968. We brought it here and it is shining ever brightly.
Love that. Be sure to check it out. All right, and at number 1 in our countdown, protests and a congressional visit drew attention to an ICE detention facility in Dilley. Hundreds gathered to support families being held there, including a 5-year-old boy whose case has gained national attention. Protesters marched from downtown Dilley to the ICE facility, calling for an end to family detention. DPSS troopers ordered about 150 people to leave, claiming some crossed a security barrier. 2 protesters were arrested. One woman tells us tear gas was used with little warning.
The energy was great. We're singing. We had clergy up there. We had nuns at the front. We were, everything just felt good. And then all of a sudden this bus shows up with all of these state troopers.
At the same time this was all going on, Congressman Joaquin Castro and Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett were inside the facility meeting with 5-year-old Liam Ramos and his father. An image of Liam being detained in Minnesota went viral, sparking outrage across the country. Castro says Liam has been depressed since he was taken into custody.
His father said that Liam has been very depressed since he's been at Dilley, that he hasn't been eating well. I was concerned with, you see how he appears in that photo with his energy.
A federal judge has temporarily blocked the deportation of Liam and his father. All right, thanks for joining us for this week's episode of the Weekly Wrap, only on KENS 5 Plus. We'll see you next week with all your other headlines. Bye, guys.